In this video, I'm going to share with you my favorite budget-friendly phone system for the solo lawyer who wants to stay virtual and who doesn't need all the bells and whistles that other phone systems offer. So if you're operating on a strict budget like I was once operating on, then I'm going to save you hours and hours of research. Unitel Voice is most likely going to be your best option. And in this video, I'm going to share the pros and cons with choosing this phone service. Welcome to Law Venture, a channel devoted to lawyers and future lawyers. My name's Jarrett Stone. I'm the owner of Stone Firm P LLC. But more importantly, today I'm your guide to balling on a budget as we talk about phone services. And like I said at the beginning of this video, we're going to be reviewing Unitel Voice, a phone service that my law firm has been using since 2019. If you want to check out Unitel for yourself, I'll provide a link in the description for you down below. I think the best thing to do is just start with prices so you can see whether or not Unitel Voice is going to be within your budget. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. As you can see, the startup price starts at $9.99, so $10. With that, you get one phone number, you get 500 monthly minutes, and 3 users can be included. It also comes with the mobile app. You can then jump up to the unlimited plan at $25 a month, $24.99. And you get, again, one phone number, but unlimited minutes and unlimited users. In my situation, I try not to be on my office line for a long period of time, just in order to lighten my workload. So the 500 minutes, I don't think I hit it very often or exceed it. And when I do, it's not some crazy charge that's been happening over the years. So I've been defaulting to keeping this basic plan, and I'm not really too concerned about having unlimited minutes at this point in time. Quick tea break, and don't judge me for using the wife's pink mug. I was low on options today. So if you're like me and you're a solo lawyer who likes operating on that shoestring budget, this $9.99 per month plan should catch your eye. Full disclosure as well, because I have been using this service since 2019, my average bill actually ends up being about $16.40 whenever you include taxes and the extra costs that are thrown into the equation. So we're gonna focus on this startup plan and what you can get around the $10 to $16 range. In particular, you're obviously gonna get a business phone number that you can use from any phone. This is going to help you stay virtual. In my situation, for the longest time, I used the Unitel Voice app on my personal phone in order to handle my business calls. And that simply means that whenever I wanted to make a business call, I go through the Unitel app, and whenever I call someone, it shows up on their caller ID as my law firm's number, not my personal cell number. You can also get a professional greeting put in place. For me in my situation, I showed a clip of what my greeting is when people call me in the video that was sliding above. You may have to click the, I think it's an I or something there in the corner, and then click the video that was sliding earlier in order to listen to the recording that my wife kindly recorded for me. You're also going to be able to receive your voicemail and faxes via email or app. Very convenient. I'm a big fan of that feature. Once they added that, it made my life a whole lot easier. This next part is very important and should minimize your risk. Whenever you have a Unitel phone number, you own the phone number, not Unitel. And this is going to be key for a lot of law firms that are looking to grow. Spoiler alert, and I'll touch on this as we progress throughout this video, I'm actually leaving Unitel Voice in order to try and test out another phone service. The reason for that is that my law firm and my needs have exceeded the startup plan that we're talking about at this point in time in this video. And so if you're operating on that shoestring budget and you don't need all the bells and whistles at this point in your legal career with your own law firm, keep watching this video. The important part is, as your law firm does grow, you have the option to take that phone number and port it, is the term, port, P-O-R-T, to another service because you own it. That means you're not going to be stuck with Unitel until your dying days. You can grow with your law firm and that phone number can follow you. So very important to know. So now we're getting to my favorite feature And honestly, this should not be a big deal. This should be a standard feature for all phone services, but for whatever reason, it's not. So with Unitel Voice, it gives you the ability to send and receive faxes. A lot of phone services, when you do your research online and you read the FAQs or the fine print, will only let you receive faxes, not send them out. So the fact that this service is included into Unitel Voice was a huge appeal to me ultimately choosing Unitel Voice originally. Now, there are some pros and cons to consider here, and we'll talk about that. In particular, with Unitel Voice, it used to be to where I could send a fax that is a PDF file that was around, I want to say the limit was 10 megabytes. 10 megabytes in the grand scheme of things can get you pretty far on what you're faxing out. But unfortunately, at some point since 2019, Unitel has since lowered that threshold to where now the limit is 5 megabytes. I use PDF Expert when handling my PDFs, and PDF Expert has this great feature to where you can reduce the file size while also keeping as much of the quality of the PDF itself. Typically, that does the trick of keeping me under the 5 megabytes, but there are times where it's like, dang it, I'm gonna have to send multiple faxes to this insurance company and risk them on their side getting confused about receiving multiple faxes. Another potential downside is that it doesn't give you the option to create your cover letter or your fax cover built into the actual website. You have to manually do that on a Word document or a PDF, attach that onto the actual document you want to send, have that all into one compiled PDF, assuming it's under 5 megabytes, and then upload it to Unitel to send off, and then Unitel will take care of the faxing at that point in time. Having this faxing component built into the $9.99 to $16 range is actually worth it, because if you look at other faxing services online, they're either around the $10 plus range, or they have they just have limitations that aren't really worth the expense of having a separate service. This next feature is pretty cool for me, and it's something that may resonate for you, which is that you can make phone calls via the Unitel Voice app when you're connected to Wi-Fi, meaning you don't need cell data to make these phone calls. This is important because it allows me to create a wall in my life. Originally, whenever I first went solo, like I was saying earlier, I had the Unitel Voice app in my business line on my cell phone. Well, actually, it was my iPhone 7, which is over here. I would show it to you, but it has to be plugged in, otherwise it just stops working. And so I started to get annoyed at my cell phone ringing nonstop with these adjusters and just all the cases just coming in through my cell phone and through ultimately the Unitel Voice app. Now I could just simply go on the Unitel Voice app and put on Do Not Disturb and not have to worry about the phone calls, but it's just an extra step I didn't want to have to deal with. So whenever I did get this iPhone 14, I recycled and repurposed my iPhone 7 to be the office line. And so my iPhone 7, without Wi-Fi, couldn't make a call if its life depended on it. And that life is just straggling right now. But since it is connected to Wi-Fi, all of my actual work and business calls come through the Unitel app that is on this iPhone 7. So something to consider if you're the type of person who keeps their phones and doesn't necessarily trade them in every time you upgrade or get a new phone. One thing that is important that I think is something that I'm now considering at this point, a few years removed from going solo, is the ability to have call recording, which comes in at $5 per month. Another thing that I'm now considering at this point is voicemail transcription, the ability to transcribe the voicemail into text. This next one's pretty big. Toll-free texting. Unitel does it to where it says your customers can send your toll-free number in SMS text message and you'll receive it as an email. You reply to that email and your customer receives it as an SMS text from your number. You can set up autoresponders and more. Cost is $8 per month per 500 texts. This is something that I haven't tested out with Unitel, but if I'm reading this correctly, this means that you need to have a toll-free number and not a local number, which is a little annoying that that's how they're differentiating how this texting works. And it's also a little annoying that it has to be via email. Texting is definitely something that I want to implement in my law firm with the business phone number. So this year I am prioritizing minimizing my workflow and my office desk situation to where I'm trying to eliminate this iPhone 7's role of being an office line while also not needing to rely on my actual cell phone for being my office line as well. This means that what I'm wanting at this point is to have the ability to make and receive phone calls and to send text messages from my actual computer, the iMac. And so in order to have that ability through Unitel, that means I would need to sign up for the $29.99 per month service. This would be what they refer to as the desktop soft phone. So considering, let's just round it up to $30, and also, and I have the numbers down here, so bear with me, considering the $5 for call recording, $5 for transcribing the voicemails, and $8 for texting, that comes out to $48 per month. Let's go ahead and take this $48 and round it up to an even $50 by assuming taxes and surcharges are only $2. So at this point in my law firm journey, I have 3 options to choose from. Option 1 is to just keep doing what I've been doing since 2019, keep paying on average about $16.40 per month to get just the startup plan and the minimal features. But that also means that I'm going to miss out on the additional features that I feel like my law firm needs at this point as it's been growing. But I also don't necessarily, with option 2, want to pay the $50 in order to get those features. Option 3 is the middle ground approach. I found a phone service that provides these features and a little bit more that's less than $50 per month, but definitely more than the $16.40 per month as well. So what I plan on doing in a future video is providing that input and my thoughts and ultimately a review on this new service that I'm transitioning my law firm into. Whenever I do this, it means I'm getting serious. I'm leaning into being able to talk to you. I make videos like this in order to give you the options to ball on a budget. If $50 a month in order to get all the bells and whistles or more is something that you're not going to bat an eye about, then this video isn't for you. But I remember vividly starting my law firm back in 2019, right before a pandemic, knowing that having a PI law firm meant that whenever I signed up a client, I may not get paid from that case until many months or a year plus down the road. And so in order to help myself sleep better at night, which is extremely valuable to me, I need a lot of beauty sleep, I wanted to make sure I was operating on this shoestring budget. So if you're in a similar position or mindset to where you're trying to ball on a budget, then definitely consider this $9.99 option or a comparable option for what we're talking about with phone services. Again, I'm going to provide a review of my new setup that is going to be starting shortly, but stay tuned for that. In the meantime, if you're trying to scale your way up to having more expenses based on your law firm's needs, Unitel Voice is a great starting point for you. Now, if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, or if you just want to say hi, comment sections down below. If you're still watching, if you support Ball on a Budget, be sure to hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. With all that said, I'll see you in the next video.